It's a kind of cognitive and emotional distortion. For me, it's both, at least in the early stages. When I was young, it was more of a storm and drang period, where you had the extreme emotional distress and the psychotic symptoms, and everything. But once you get on the medication, and when I started having relapses, the relapses were more manic initially, and I I kind of thought I was a great and exalted person, and that I was on a special mission, and that everybody loved me and everything. And then gradually, there's a kind of quote unquote demonic side to mental illness too. My my negative emotions started to come up too. People were opposed to me. People were attacking me and criticizing me. I became very scared and frightened and everything. And this was all, of course, when I wasn't on the medication. And even within each diagnosis, each person's symptoms are individual. Each person's recovery is individual. Every person is an individual. Like we say, some people say, well, you're a schizophrenic. Well, you're not a schizophrenic. You have schizophrenia. You're more than just your illness. You're a person also. And a lot of people feel, I want to say this, feel, that there's something wrong with them because they have an illness. There's a lot of prejudice and ignorance on the part of the population, but there's also a self-stigma.
If someone thinks that their friend or family member might be suffering from a mental health crisis, what are some ways that they can help them?
Get them to a mental health professional and who is sympathetic, not judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Realize that you can't talk them out of it. Just pull it up by your bootstrings. It is a brain disease, much like diabetes is a disease of the body. It's biochemical and it can be treated biochemically. A lot of times they don't believe they have this illness. It's real to them, or the initial symptoms may not include psychosis. They may be extreme emotional trauma and distress, and that may trigger, a psychosis. You can have relapses, you have to, sometimes the meds will work for a while and then you'll have to change meds, is what I've heard. For me, I lost a lot of weight, so I adjusted my medication because I thought it was associated with weight loss. And even when I did that with a doctor, sometimes I'd go into a relapse, like I was a postal worker. I was a letter carrier for the United States Postal Service. And then I quit that to go to law school, but I didn't know it, but I was starting to have mental disorders at the time. I was getting very emotional disturbance is part of, what contributes to a psychosis, at least in my experience, and I think in others too.